Welcome back to the show, HBCU Hoop fans. It's time for our Week 3 HBCU Hoops Report with Coach Kannon. As a fellow coach, I'm absolutely thrilled with the results that we saw this past week. Forget about survival. The SWAC, the MEAC were focused on winning, and one team even delivered a monumental upset. Let's get into the action from November 9th through the 15th. Let's highlight some players that carried the load and look ahead to another punishing week of some Power 5 challenges. First, I want to highlight Alabama State and their 77-74 monumental victory over UAB. Coach Lewis and the Hornets proving that the SWAC can absolutely compete and win on a major stage. You also have to love Grambling State's victory over Southern Miss. That's two major D1 wins in 1 week for the SWAC. And meanwhile, in the MEAC, Howard was able to take care of Alcorn State. Let's look into the recap of the rest of the games. Again, we have Alabama State with their 77-74 victory over UAB. Grambling State with their 78-75 victory over Southern Miss. North Carolina Central, they lost 66-92 to North Carolina. That was our game of the week. Howard, they edged out Alcorn State in overtime, 88-84. And then Bethune-Cookman, they had a tough loss to a competitive A10 opponent in Dayton, 82-91. All right, now it's time to give our nods to some of the difference makers of the week. First, let's start off with Ajon Anderson, a guard from Alabama State. He provided the clutch factory in the upset against UAB. His 20 points and 7 assists only tell half the story. He was consistently attacking the rim. He had 16 free throw attempts, and he showed the guts to close out a game in a hostile environment. Next, I want to give a nod to Arterio Morris. He was aggressive on the road. He led the Wildcats with 19 points. He was efficient shooting, 8 of 17. It was an A10 power in Dayton, and he led it to be competitive down to the wire. That level of production against a high major caliber defense is something that we all like to see. And lastly, I want to shout out Michael James, a guard from Mississippi Valley State. He's a new transfer, and he's immediately taking the reins of the Delta Devils. He's averaging almost 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals this week, and he demonstrated his ability to carry the load for the team, producing on both ends of the court. All right, next, let's give a look ahead to our HBCU hoops for the week of November 16th through November 22nd. We have Florida A&M. They are traveling to Oregon State in a key Pac-12 road test. Texas Southern, they are traveling to Arkansas in a massive SEC road test for the Tigers. Jackson State will be traveling to Kansas State for a Big 12 road test. Then we got 2 Big 10 road tests, starting with Howard. They're traveling to Maryland, and Delaware State will be traveling to Penn State. And then I want to highlight the game of the week is North Carolina Central. They have a chance to grab a win against a power conference name and a Big East opponent in Georgetown on Friday, the 21st. All right, for the topic of the day, this week raises a big question. The exposure from the Alabama State upset is phenomenal, but what is the true cost of this demanding schedule? Teams are playing sometimes 7 games in 12 days. They're traveling across 3 different time zones. Some are having success, but for the majority of the HBCU schools, they are taking losses, and it is tanking the team's national metrics like the KenPom, which punishes teams for playing tough schedules. So, my question to you, does one major upset like Alabama State make the entire grueling schedule worth it for national visibility, the recruiting boost, and just the internal belief?